Good morning, everyone. So happy you're here. Afternoon, evening, whatever time zone. So just so you know, there's nothing you need to do. So relax, just be here, be yourself. So just feel your body. Very important. That's our doorway into heaven, so to speak. And heaven is right here. Your body is heaven. Your body is the most precious that's given to us. So feel your body sitting here. Feel your beautiful body sitting here. Feel your feet, wiggle your toes. Feel your lower legs, your knees, your thighs. Feel your butt, the whole pelvic bowl. Feel your torso, your shoulders, your arms, all the way to your hands, your fingers. You can move your fingers. And feel your neck, your throat, and your head. And feel how your beautiful body is covered by skin. It's all very obvious. And we so easily take it for granted. So really say good morning or afternoon or evening to your body. Hi, body. Might even touch it. Just say, hi, body. Good morning. So grateful you're here. Might even want to squeeze it. Be sure that it's alive, that you feel it. And then feel the breath breathing your body. And you can have your eyes open or closed, whatever feels good for you. Whatever feels good for you. Just for this short meditation, I invite you to hold your body still, just in a very open and gentle way. Just hold it still. And then feel the breath breathing your body and bringing movement in your body. And there's nothing you have to do for that. It just happens. Feel how on the in-breath, your body expands into space. And how on the out-breath, your body comes back to itself. So bring your attention just around the skin, just inside the skin, just outside the skin, just on the skin. While your body is being breathed and you feel this expansion and softening, this flow. So we are not doing breathing. We're opening up our body to receive the breath, breathing our bodies. Expansion and softening. Just feel how in the expansion, in the in-breath, how your body, the skin, moves into space, expands, touches all the corners of the universe, all the roundness of the universe, endlessness of the universe. And on the out breath, it comes back to itself, and then feel the core in your body. Keep on staying with this, just the flow of the breath, expansion of your body into space, softening back into your body, the core of your body on the out breath. Of joining the flow of the breath of the universe. And when there are emotions or thoughts or images or discomforts or pleasures in your body, they're all welcome. Let them be themselves. You want to be yourself, they want to be themselves. You just want to move through. Same as the breath, breathing your body in. So we're just sitting here and receiving life, moving as the breath, moving as emotions, feelings, sensations, images, thoughts. We're all here. And perhaps there's even a layer on top of that. It's like, no, I don't want this. I don't want these emotions anymore. I don't want these feelings anymore. I don't want this. That's welcome too. All commentary, let it just do what it wants. We are resting our awareness in the ebbs and flows of the breath, breathing our body. So that takes intention. That's where we're going to rest our awareness. The expansion, the softening. And then notice how in the midst of the ebb and flow and the coming and goings of any kind of form, that there is something very, very still and resting without us doing anything. There's something deeply resting. There's something that's just is. It's the underlying silence, underlying being that's always here. And see if you can soften and relax your awareness, letting your awareness rest in the underlying silence, in the being, this silent being, while the breath is still moving your body, while perhaps some content of mind is still moving your mind, the mental body, and perhaps something is moving your emotional body. It's all fine. It's the simultaneity of all of life. And we are just making a choice. It's just a choice to rest as this one silent being, the silence of your being. It just is, that doesn't come or go. That so-called thing that was here when you were 2 years old, 10 years old, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 80, at all ages, it has no age. It just is. It has no color, no taste, no smell, no thought. And it's so here. So together we are melting in and as this one silent being. Many bodies, one silent being, resting everywhere. And if something is very activated or there's a challenging time, just speak to yourself, sweetheart, we're going to rest as this one being that's deeply still. Underlying silence of your being. So we're just sitting here and in a way kind of waiting, being open to receive the underlying silence of our being, what we are. Just relax. We're not going anywhere. It's coming to us. Together, we are deepening by just making ourselves available. So just feel how the field is coming more and more potent, more still and steady. No matter how busy your mind is, it's happening. Just be still. Just be still. in this moment, even if you don't know how, give all of you, devote all of you, your attention, your heart, your all of you, to this one silent being, the silence of your being. The more we hand ourselves over to the silence of our being, presence of our being, the more the presence of our being can take care of us. It's the ultimate relaxation, the ultimate nourisher, the ultimate fixer, the ultimate everything, healer, ultimate brightness and light and depth of who you are. That will get you through anything. Give it your all without doing anything. Just give it your all. This is your beloved self. This is you. Mm. If you need to stretch or deepen your breath, please do so. So I have noticed over and over and over and over and over and over and over, always, how the more we just hear, the more we receive any information. And we receive information through our body, right? So that's why it's so important to really be in the body, so to speak, to be embodied, which means you just feel your body, you know it's here. It tends to give us all these signals where to go, what to do. It knows it before we know it, so to speak. The body knows. And the more we're able to rest as the silence of our being, the more our body is resting in and as the silence. So any kind of information that comes of, go here, go there, or you get, we can have the voice speaking like this voice in our head. We know that doesn't tend to give the best information. That's more the one that beats us up, or that's just a program. Let's call it a program. We're just programmed, and that's the program running. And we cannot always find the kind of the hook to unhook it. Yeah. And then there's another quality of information that comes. It's just very clear, very straightforward. And that's just where we need to be awake and hear and listen, because it will inform us. And the more we listen to that voice, it's also called God or Goddess, her silent voice, the more we actually just listen and take action on it, then it just goes. Yeah. It doesn't insist that much. I just perhaps will mention a few times, and then it's up to us. It can be just a simple thing like, let me see if I can give an example of my own life. Well, nothing comes to mind right now, but it can be as simple like you need to go to the bank, and it's like, oh yeah, I need to pick up that check. Just a simple thing. And then when I haven't really listened to the voice, or wasn't really awake enough to it, or haven't made a little note of it, then before I know it, I'm back home and like, I forgot it. And that doesn't need to be that big of a deal. But it can be with other things, it can be actually a big deal. And it's kind of learning, like, how can I trust this inner sense? How can I trust my body when it gives me a sign like, oh, there's some pain, instead of immediately trying to fix it, just to kind of listen, like, okay, what kind of pain is this? Oh, I probably shouldn't have eaten that food, Or when you start eating a piece of food that you actually know, oh, that's probably not the best for me to eat. We always know. And then either we have the strength to make a choice to put it to the side, or we just take it and pay for the impact. And so life is always showing us the whole time where to go, what to do, how to move or not. And it's not like, do this, do that, but it's just a gentle kind of a flow, like It shows. It shows. And I don't know if I had shared this before. Had I shared before around that I went to my attorney? And I just going to share it, even if I shared it before, because it just keeps coming to share it. So I went, this is a month ago. I needed to go to my attorney because she needed to do something for me that I couldn't do, or I can do, but it takes me so many hours. I just didn't want to do it. So I went to her, and so she said she was going to do it, and she told me the amount of money that it was going to cost. And I'd like, gee, that's a lot of money. And I'd like, I just want to have it done, that I know for sure it's done well. So I said yes. And then later she said, oh yeah, plus the money you need to pay them with this form for the government. And then I'd like, gee, this is a lot. So I was kind of sitting with it, and I'd like, I just going to do it. And so I did it. And I drove away there, and I was in my car, and I had like, no, this is just not right. This is not good. I just got literally sick to my stomach. So I was feeling into it. It's like, no, it's too much. I do have the money, but it just didn't feel right to spend so much money. So I went, I parked somewhere, and I went to this little store. And let me see how it went. Yeah, so I went into the store, did some shopping, and it kept on staying. It's like, no, I just need to call her. So I called, got her on the phone, and I said to her, it's just too much for me right now. I think I need to do it myself, and I'm well aware that perhaps you did it all already. And she said, yeah, Marlies, I just did all the paper when you left. I did the whole thing. And it's like, so I'd like, okay, well, whatever, it's just my fault. And she clearly had said how much it was, and I had clearly said yes, and it's just my responsibility. So I told her, okay. And I got a kind of like a tremble in my voice. I was also really tired that day. So kind of some tears came. It's like, oh. So we put the phone down, and I was like, okay, that's it. But while I was on the phone with her, an old friend walked by my car, and I said, well, I'm on the phone. So she went in the store, and she came back out. And just when she came back out, I went out of my car, and she said, how are you doing? I said, well, this is a friend I hadn't seen for years. So I said, well, actually, in the moment, I feel really kind of trembly and teary-eyed, because I feel I really did something that wasn't right. And, I need to pay for it. And that's my responsibility. So she asked me what it was. And I said, and then we started chatting. And then she said, well, how much is it actually? So I told her the amount, and she said, yeah, that's a lot of money. And we were chatting some more. And then she said, I want to give you money. I said, well, no, it's okay. I have the money. I just feels too much. No, she said, it's too much. I give you money. So she gave me a bunch of money. She said, I give you the cash that I have here. I was like, oh, okay. So I received the money, and I thanked her. And I thought, gee, how interesting that she just comes by. And so then we had chatted for a while. I went back into my car, and I saw there was a message on my phone from my attorney to call her. So I called her, and I got her on the phone, and she said, Marlies, I said with it, and I think I just ripped the last check that you gave to me. So instead of us paying a certain amount, I had to pay only half. And I was and I said to her, I just want you to know, I just saw an old friend of mine. She gave me also money. She said, doesn't matter. I just will rip the check. I said, okay, well, that's fantastic. So the reason I'm sharing this is that I couldn't have invented this, right? That a friend would come by, give some money, and then the attorney calling back and say, hey, you get, I ripped one of the checks, and it just felt like I stayed true to myself. First, I took the responsibility to say yes to something that wasn't the best idea. And then I took responsibility to follow this sensation in my body, because I knew I had to take an action, and calling her. And I didn't have any expectations. And then I just knew, it's my doing. So I took responsibility and just completely let it go. And then immediately life answered. And I just want you to know, the more we stay true, even if we go a little off, the more we stay true to any kind of message that comes from within, that it's very clearly pointed to us by our body, or it's just that one voice that comes through our inner voice, then life takes care of us. It always has. Just look at your life. Yes, there will be challenges. There will always be challenges. It's not that you wake up to your true nature and everything is hunky-dory. Absolutely not. You just wake up to your nature, which really means you wake up to your nature. You know who you are. That's all that it means. Yeah. It doesn't mean your taxes are always taken care of. It doesn't mean you need to bring food into your body. It doesn't mean there will be no challenges anymore. No, what it means, you're awake. It means you know who you are. Doesn't mean you know more about politics. Doesn't mean you know more about science. It doesn't mean anything besides you're waking up to your true nature. You know who you are. You know where to put your attention. You know what to follow, what your number one is in your life, at least. If you don't know, just so you know now, that's your number one. That's what you are. And the more you follow that, that's what will do the magic in your life. That's what will do every miracle in your life. And we see it as magic and miracles, what I experience, but really it's natural. It's so natural. It's natural. Yeah. It's life provides. It can be just in the littlest things. I needed something for my garden that I wanted to cover some of my plants or veggies when it's kind of gets frosty and really cold, and I hadn't bought it. And then I saw a friend and he said, I have a lot of this stuff. Here, take it. It was exactly the stuff that I needed, So it's like the more we just stay true to ourselves, the more the universe can answer us, which is ourselves. We're one and the same. There's not us in the universe. Yeah. So, and I want to also mention that in these times, for all of us, we're living in, as I see it, the most incredible time. This is the most incredible time because everything is changing. Everything is changing in the so-called outer. The way we have been living the last few years, it's not normal. Yeah. And I won't go back to normal. So in a way, we're all challenged with an incredible gift. Like, what is natural and always here? That's your nature. That's what you are. And keep on listening. What's your truth? Nobody can tell you. Only you can live that. Yeah. And the more, I was working with a lady that couldn't do her job anymore because she didn't want to follow certain things. So she was scared shitless to leave her job because she knew she was not going to do what was demanded of her. And now her life is better than ever before. She followed her truth by letting go of her job that she loved, that she had been doing for eons. And she stepped out of it, stayed true, and her whole life changed. A whole new thing came into her life. a whole new way of work that she loves even more. So it's like when we dare, when we dare to just know there's fear, because there's fear, in the human body, there's fear. Even when there's awakening, there's fear. Yeah, it's nothing bad or good about fear. It's just part of being a human life. Yeah. But it's like, even though there's fear, do we dare to still stay in as truth and love and take the steps that we know in our hearts that we want to take? And that to me is where the rubber hits the road. It's wonderful to have deep meditations. It's wonderful to sit on our cushion and sit and use this period also, because there seems to be, for a lot of people, less chance to hang out with others, to take that time to deepen and have retreat with yourself and nourish yourself. That's wonderful. But then there's a time you need to get up and do something, to bring that wakefulness, bring that into your life, into your action, into every action. Because the more we rest as the silence of our being, the more actually you become alive. Yeah, it's not the more you come removed. No, you come more alive. Have you noticed? Have you noticed that in one way, when you're more deeply still, there's this ocean of silence that you want to kind of be absorbed in? And simultaneously, that there's this aliveness, this vibration that wants to take you, that wants to live as you, that wants to move as you. Yeah. So there's a time of sitting and really being a recluse, you could say. And there's a time of moving and being in the world, or being in your family, or being in your friends, or taking the actions you want to take. And it's up to us to dare. Because it's sometimes scary to take steps, to step into the new, do something different. And the more we dare to listen, the more we just do it. I remember when I was living in the Netherlands, I never, ever thought of coming to live in America. Not, in Dutch we have a saying, not one hair on my head thought of going to live in America. And I used to visit my sister, since she was very little, wanted to live in America, and my brother actually too. And I had like, no way. But I would visit my sister almost every year when she was living in New York and Chicago and so on. And I would always say, it's so wonderful to visit you, but I can't imagine living here. This country is just insane. Well, obviously something changed. But life brought me here. It was, in one way, there was some fear, but mostly it was effortless, because I knew I was taken care of. Something was created by life that I came to Santa Cruz, and that I stayed in Santa Cruz, even though it took me about 5 years to root here, because I missed, my friends and my country. But I knew it was kind of like a right suffering, what was happening. I knew I was in the right place in the right time. So we all have our things that we need to go through, because often it's this idea, when I do the right thing, then it's only ease. Yes, there's an ease in one way, and then there are challenging things that will come with that. It's a letting go. It's a detachment. Well, detachment is kind of a tricky word, but it's a letting go of what kind of sticks to us. And definitely Holland and Amsterdam and my friends was sticking to me, for sure, big time. And my familiar way of being and walking in the city, every day and bicycling every day and just the certain fragrance. I missed it. I missed it so much, that way of living, just hanging out with each other and going your bicycle, and you don't call someone to go visit, you just go. America's totally different. It's like everything is far away and everybody has a car, and it's a whole other way of being. Neither one is better than the other. It's just different. But I knew it was right to go. So life supported me being here. And there was a lot of challenge, a lot of grief, a lot of letting go, which I'm so grateful for. Because when we go into another culture or conditioning, you become also more aware of your own conditioning. And it's beautiful to see all of that, and then can make a choice. Okay, I choose to do this. I choose to go here. Just a simple thing. Like in Holland, I grew up like very firmly. I was trained like you eat with a fork and a knife. It's a funny example, but it's just one simple example of culture. So in Holland, I was trained. Have your elbows on the table. You eat with a fork and a knife, and that's how you eat. And then here in America, everybody eats only with a fork in their right hand. And I was like, in my trainings, like, gosh, that's weird. But it's not weird. It's just how they do it here. It's just the conditioning. So it's with everything. Every step we take, we let go of some part of our imprisoned self that's not us to even start with. This little self, it's not us. We think it's us, but it's not us. It's never been you. You are pure being. You're pure silence. You're the most amazing bright light alive. And we all get distracted from it. We all are. Especially, these phones and computers, they're incredible, but they're a distraction, conditioned distraction. So much time we spend there that's just nonsense. I have some ideas about that, obviously. So I want you to really know the most important thing is you, who you are. And put all your money on that. Put your whole heart on that. And let you rest. Let all of you rest as your nature, as your true nature, the heart of the universe. That's beating right in your body. It's moving you, it's showing you, it's living as you. Give that your all, because that's what will inform you constantly. That's what brings true happiness. True happiness doesn't come from the outer world. Yeah, here and there you will have tastes of it. Then it goes. But here, the truest happiness is here, right in you. It's you. It's you. Yeah. Others can reflect it back to you. But it's your opportunity, this life, to use this beautiful body as a portal. And listen to your nature. Listen. She's speaking all the time. She's showing you all the time. She's showing you, tiredness in the body, it needs to sleep. Simple. Oh, there's a lot of action that wants to happen today. Join that. You don't need to know why. It's just how it is. It's very, very obvious. Yeah. And especially in these times, it's incredible when you dare to stay true to your nature in the midst of anything. No matter what anybody tells you, even what I tell you. Yeah. So please, it's your beloved. It's you. Be you. Be you. It's funny. It's a funny thing that we need to learn to be ourselves. Isn't that funny? But that's really what it is. We just be you. Trust this love that you are. Trust this silence that you are. Trust how life always takes care of you. Doesn't always look as you think it's supposed to look in your world. But she does. Always. You're never alone. You're you. You're beautiful. And this beauty, this silence of your being wants to be lived. It's alive. It can be simple, just feeling the aliveness in your fingers right now, touching each other. That aliveness, that's you. Just being alive. Touching. It's simple. It's here. It's what's here. It's not the future or the past. It's here. So I hope you get a little taste of what I'm talking to. I fully support you to stay true to your nature. No matter what your partner says, your children say, your parents, your friends, stay true. That will give true happiness. A combination of truth and love that wants to be lived. Follow that. Follow that. That's your opportunity of your life. To be you. To be your flavor. Your expression. Okay. Well, I just want to open it up for anybody that wants to share. And you share, just share really what's truly alive right now. What's really touching for you right now? What's alive? What do you truly want to share? So if so, just unmute yourself or raise your hand, and I'd love to hear from you. Tobias. Hi, Tobias.
Yes, right, Marlies.
Hi. Oh,
Hi.
Hi.
I want to share some gratitude this evening. Well, for me it's evening, for you it's morning, I guess.
Yes, you're in Germany?
I am, yes.
Wonderful.
I'm looking forward to your next visit to the Netherlands, maybe.
Yes, I think it will be next year. I think this year I'm not going to go anywhere, but who knows?
What I want to share gratitude about is one piece in the meditation that really struck me quite hard, where you mentioned that you talked about, you do that sometimes. Maybe your mind is like really busy and you can't really stop it, and it doesn't matter. And there was this voice inside of me so confused that there is no anger. Because, well, it's very hard for me to stay here sometimes. And I was quite shocked myself how wounded this, I'm going to call it voice, seemed to be, that was so not understanding of how can you not be angry about it. And there's a deep gratitude about this. Thank you.
Yeah, it's freeing, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, wonderful. Thanks so much for sharing that, Tobias. Your gratitude is received. Wonderful. Thank you, Merit. Okay. Gratitude. That's really the most wonderful effect of freedom, of awakening. Just gratitude. Being alive. Anybody else that wants to share? And Sarah.
One moment, let me take my little video cover off. Here we go.
Hi, Sarah.
Hey, Marlies.
Great to see you.
I have a little video cover when I'm not.
Yeah, I have the same. Mine is pink.
Mine says, "There is no way, peace is the way."
Good.
Or there is no way to peace, peace is the way by Ty.
Wonderful. Peace is the way.
Yeah, I think what would be helpful. So one of the things I'm working with, and I think about your comment, I'm going to put my hand down. The story about like, I don't want anything to get in the way of my peace, and the story you tell. And I find that it's like, even now, you know, I'm like, oh God, I haven't studied yet today. I have my final Friday or my midterm Friday. And I'm living in a culture, or both outside and inside. There's this constant not enoughness, behindness, comparison. And it feels like it's hard to trust myself to be myself, and that's enough, and trust that flow, that life will guide me, because ego and the culture of academia and is so potent. And so it's like I blame myself when I'm not living authentically, but then I blame myself when I'm not living for my ego. So
It's quite a pressure, huh?
yeah.
Yeah.
And it was nice to allow myself to be off video and get my stuff ready for the day, and give myself permission to perceive, and then also to trust that it's okay to pause, like right now. But it is scary because there's like a deficit culture. It's like, if you're not on top of it and in front, then you're really behind.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't like living that way because it's so harsh. And
takes you away from your nature.
Yeah, it's not that fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's squishy and beautiful.
Yeah. 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 It's kind of going through the birth canal, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I'm still like learning how to drop back in and trust.
Yeah.
Like I have like a specialty license plate that I got that's go with the flow. And I always forget.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So let's just make space for all this discomfort that's here, Sarah. Just the pressure. If I don't follow all the rules, or the how do you say it? The society here, you said it differently. Then I'm not yeah. And when I don't follow inside, then it's not okay. It's like being kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, huh? Yeah. So you cannot figure this out in your mind. So have both those parts here, the pressure from outside, the pressure from inside, and then your presence, and then just the utmost discomfort. And also the heart is here too. So yeah, feel your hand on your heart. It's all here. We don't have a fix for it right now. It's just deeply honoring your experience right now. See what it's like to just honor your experience as it is.
Yeah, it feels like there's no way other than to just like it's not sustainable if I try to force it.
Exactly.
And what I want is, or like what feels good is to like be responsive versus calculated around trying to control Sarah in 12 hours and then T minus 9 hours minus 6.
Yeah. It gives so much tension, and that also makes it more challenging to learn. Yeah. It's quite a kind of a very well-known vicious circle within the academia. Yeah.
But it's like, it feels too risky to like trust my heart to guide me. And yet, like, the other shit is stupid.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like anti my personality to be so harmful. And yet I don't know how to let my heart guide my mind and my learning. Because
well, let me give you some suggestions. So sometimes it's really good to kind of sit with the heart and ask what wants to happen here, or how can I do this? And sometimes it's also good to just tap in like, okay, if I could make a choice this day, how would I want to have my day to be? So you wake up in the morning, instead of immediately going like, oh God, I need to, you know, especially, right?
Like a squirrel.
It's that first contraction that informs the whole day, okay? So it kind of is a beautiful practice to notice that, perhaps instantaneously that's there, but before that contraction comes, you're still in some form of peace of the sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And to kind of go back to that place in a way, or put your hand on your heart and just let your body know, I can feel there's a lot of tension. Put your hand on your heart and just breathe. And then a simple practice, just this, hand on your heart, breathe, and then say, okay, how would I want to organize my day today? And it's even better to do this before you go to sleep. Yeah. So before you go to sleep, you just ask yourself, what needs to be done tomorrow? And how do I actually want to do it? Mm-hmm. And then connect with yourself. And it's like, okay, so tomorrow I need to do blah, 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 blah. How I want to do it is actually, I want to first sit for a moment and do some movement. And that doesn't mean you need to sit for an hour, even 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. And 5 minutes, just some stretching. But I would do it a little longer, but just 5 minutes is already enough. Like, okay, so that's how I start the day. And then you can just say, I make a choice to feel this aliveness when I do my practice of silence, my practice of movement, whatever it is. I want to feel this aliveness, and I choose to bring this aliveness in my work. Mm-hmm. If this is how you want to do it. And then you start working with the intention, okay, for the next 45 minutes, I'm going to do this. And I ask for help, that I stay on task, and that I enjoy it. And then after 45 minutes, you take a break. And then I don't know, I just give examples. You go turn on music, you dance like crazy. And then again, before you start again, my intention is for the next 45 minutes to be on, to be alive, and to be awake, and go for it. When you set those intentions, and to say also, I want help with this. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very powerful to set those intentions, because then you step out of that paradigm of like, because when you want to study 2 hours in a row, it's not always the best thing. The attention is the best 45 minutes. So don't do it as I say it, but explore. It's possible to set intention for the day, how you want it. So then the next morning when you wake up, you put your hand on your heart again. It's like, oh yeah, how was I going to do the day? Okay, going to do this, this, this. And it's good to write it down. Okay, from 8 till 9, I do my practice. From 9 till 9:45, I do this, you know. It gives structure, and it helps the mind and the body to start relaxing a little bit more. Because when we don't give structure, it's easier to get overwhelmed. And then we fall in the paradigm of the society, or in the paradigm like, oh, I can't do this, you know. So it's kind of giving yourself structure within you can play.
Yeah, I'm learning to find the structure that's true versus the artificial one that I fail at, and then I'm blaming myself for getting behind.
Exactly.
And I like what you shared, like just even thinking about the day. It's like if the heart gets to ask, what do I want today to look like? It feels a lot. I don't know. It sounds more exciting.
Yeah, it is more exciting. It's more spacious because you connect with your nature.
Yeah. And I feel competent, like from my heart versus other places.
Yes. Yes. It's just that. And it doesn't take an hour to do this before you go sleep or at the end of the day. You know, it's really for everyone, no matter what we do. It's really beautiful at the end of the day. Okay, how did my day go? Okay, this was wonderful. This is perhaps I could do a little different. I am really connected, or oh, today I was not so connected. Okay. And then you look at the next day. Okay, this and this and this. And then you just take a moment just to be with yourself before you go sleep, to really connect with your nature. And then more and more your nature starts coming to the forefront when you're doing your studies. And then more and more these imprisoned slave cells will start falling away. It's not always easy. And it's helpful to set that intention. That's also why it's so beautiful when, you know, when I did more Zen practice and have these retreats and bam, 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 there's something really powerful about strong structure. Because within the structure you can play, there's space. Yeah. And then more and more your nature takes over and something can relax and soften.
I think trusting my nature is where I want to go, and I feel so impressionable by the 160 people that I live in the same building with and study with and have different ways of being, and creating us like moving from myself and then protecting my energy is very much something I'm learning.
Yeah, it's huge. It's important. You're in a steep learning curve on so many levels. Yeah, because you're not at home anymore. You're in that environment, which is not a very natural environment. You're dealing with EMFs flying around, then dealing with a lot of new information that you need to learn, new people around you, finding out like, who am I in the midst of? It's huge what you're doing. Yeah. And you're doing it, Sarah. You're doing it.
I know. Pretty wild.
Yeah. You're doing it, and you're doing it well.
Thank you for seeing and affirming that and supporting.
Yeah. We all need that. Yeah, you're doing it well, Sarah. And this is part of the struggle of finding out, you know, who am I? How do I want to do this? It's part of life. It's healthy. Struggling. We all struggle in our way. And it helps. It's a gift. to come and find out, oh, this is how I can do it, or, you know. Because even the way you speak about it now than when you spoke a little bit other time, you're way more settled in yourself. Even though perhaps you still feel scattered, but I feel you're way more settled in it.
Yeah, there's a little confidence having, you know, I failed a class, I studied olive break and I passed the test, so I passed it. And there is confidence a little bit more academically, but also just like, I really need to be myself in this or else I won't be able to do it.
Exactly.
And it can get lonely because myself is not, you know, there are different clicks and ways of being in this environment, but it does feel really good to rest in my being. I just need to trust that it doesn't, like, that's enough. And I, you know, I might feel lonely, but I want to not abandon myself just to not feel lonely.
Yeah, well, that takes so much courage, right? To stay true to yourself with your heart. And then sooner or later, the people that are on that same frequency will come in your life.
Mm-hmm.
It takes tremendous courage.
Good thing I have lots of wild, powerful female strength to call upon.
Yeah, good. Call them in. Call them in.
Well, you're one of those, so thank you.
Good. Call me in. Call me and use me, because that's how we help each other, you know.
Thank you.
Yeah, wonderful to see you. You can do it, and you're doing it. Very good.
Thanks.
Now I have a friend of mine wrote a song, but my computer crashed, and it's on my other computer. Otherwise, I would let you hear it. But it's a really fun song because she was doing something and she started singing, "I can do it. I can do it." And then it's kind of a song came out. "I can do it. Da, 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 I can do it." You know, I will let it hear, and perhaps next time my computer should be fixed in a few days. But I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. That's how it goes. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. And then one day when she heard her husband doing something, he was fixing something and it wasn't working. And then she heard him sing, "I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it." And so sometimes I do things like, "I can do it. I can do," you know. So Sarah and everyone, it's fun, you know. It helps. It's all little crutches. They're fun. And it also is that aliveness from your nature that you touch upon, because we so easily can be bogged down and pressured down by life. And we need to stay connected. We need to live this aliveness. Yeah. That's what we're here for. To play. No, I had to learn it myself. But that's what we're here for. We're here to play for no reason. To wake up and grow. Growing doesn't always mean that it goes through suffering. We can grow through pleasure and aliveness and play in so many ways. Okay, let's see. Message. So, anybody else? Love to hear from you. You know, arriving on planet Earth is not for sissies, right? It's not for sissies. It takes courage to live as your nature. It takes courage. And that's what brings happiness when we live as our nature. It seems we go against the stream, but really we go as our nature. Yes, you want to say something?
Yeah, I still haven't figured out how to raise my hand with the little emblem, so I'm
It's
just
okay.
raising my hand.
Yeah, I see you, Brigitte.
Okay. I wanted to share about an experience I had during the meditation that I've had at different times, and it was just so wonderful. And yet, I caught myself, and it's interesting because I do body mind work with my clients, and often there's a movement forward, with people when they're reporting on their story and they're not even in their body, they're like out in front of their body somewhere. And so I'm often guiding people to just come back and settle into more of their back body. And so I was finding myself really enjoying that sensation of resting into my back body. And it comes from structural integration too, like the difference between the front body and the back body. And the front body is more the individual, like gotta. And the back body is more this connection with the divine. And so in the meditation earlier, I was so into my back body, and this has happened before, where it's like the back of my head just kind of opens up and the back of my heart just opens up, and I'm like falling into this huge expanse. And I can really enjoy it and just like, whoa, it's just like this. Yeah, like this expanse opens up behind me. And then at some point, my mind kicks in and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. And I catch myself and then I come back into my body again. So I was just curious how that sounds to you, and if you can tell me anything about what you know about that, if that's a thing that you are familiar with.
Well, I am familiar with what you're sharing, the falling and the opening in the back or the opening in the front. I think it's very important what you're speaking of, because in general, people are mostly connected with the front. And that's how we're trained. And we're not trained very much to actually be connected with the back of the body. So I think it's very, very important. And when you describe its opening, it's beautiful. And then I think it's very, very beautiful to bring the back and front together as one, that's just breathing. So let's say your body is in between here, and here's your front and here's your back. It's almost like when you breathe into the heart, it's like out, in, out, in. It becomes this whole fluid body. Front and back at some point doesn't matter anymore. So in the beginning, it's an incredible tool to have and to experience that. And then to allow it to let it go and let it show you how it wants to blend together. And then there comes let's say another resting or another way of being where there's all the parameters are left behind. Then it's just what's left in the moment. Does that make sense? And I think it's also very important what you do with the people, bringing them back here and in the back body. I think it's very, very beautiful. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like that catching myself when that happens, when I'm like free falling into this expanse. Not that I want to direct anything, but maybe I can kind of catch it and bring it back more to that center that you're talking about.
You could do that. And I would say, I would just allow yourself to completely fall in. That you can still rest, as awareness in the midst of it, but let that happen. See what it's like when you let let that happen. Let it unfold. See what happens. Because in the end, everything will come to this wholeness. Yeah. So, especially because it's such a beautiful doorway in, I would stay with it and explore it all the way instead of, in a way, catching yourself and come back, do something. You can do that. There's nothing wrong with that. But I would just go all the way and see, like, what happens when perhaps you come to full absorption in a way that you've never experienced before, or something else. I don't know. Yeah. So I wouldn't say there's a right or wrong here. It's just exploring. If that's where your curiosity wants to go.
Well, even now, it feels like it's stayed with me, that feeling of openness to the back. And there is a way that it's more in my central channel now, but from the central channel back, rather than, I don't even want to experience the front of the body thing right now, because that happens so easily anyway in life, when you have things to do, kind of like Sarah was talking about, that gotta, that's in the front body.
Yeah. I think it's beautiful what you're describing. You're in an exploration. And yeah, experience that openness. Keep on drinking that. Because we are open in the back. There's no place where we're not open. And when we realize that, something can be more deeply nourished and tends to deepen also in the silence into yourself. So I would just keep staying with it and keep exploring. Yeah, because that to me is the beauty of anything we learn. So what you learned is an incredible beauty, that way of structure. And then there's time of letting it go. And this is part of the letting go. Same as I'm trained in Nagomi, and there are all these wonderful things, and then poof, I need to let it go because I just need to be me. You just need to be you. And then life can take you in a whole other way. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. I so appreciate you. Thank you.
Wonderful to have you here. Well, I think there's space for one more question or sharing, if you want to. Yes, Laura.
Hello.
Hi, Laura.
Lovely to be here with you and everyone. Thank you for their shares. This is, it feels a little silly, but I was getting the yes to come forward.
Okay, be silly.
I always dreamed, I love to travel by bicycle. And when I was in my 20s, I'm now 60, I love to dream about living in Holland for a while, where people would bicycle.
Yeah.
And I visited, and I always had that dream. And so when you mentioned, leaving and how you missed that, I could feel like something light up inside me. And then I realized that I had let go of that attachment, because it really had me for years and years.
Yeah.
I just want to live somewhere where bicycles are prominent, and not the car.
Right.
And I also just realized that I've been able to do that in my life anyway. I just bike wherever I go. And even though it's not as common and not supported, that I just stayed true to that. But at any rate, I just realized that I could kind of see how there had been this attachment, and then some kind of letting go, and then some kind of it happening anyway, and which followed the, a little bit of how you were discussing how life works. So I was just, I didn't realize that that had happened.
That's sweet. Isn't that sweet?
It was. So just a short little.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of how things just fall away and we're not even aware of it. I think it's wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really a fixation. I think it was a, one of those where you want to fantasize to get out of where you are,
Yes.
So, yeah. So thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Great to have you here, Laura. Okay. Well, while you have your eyes open, be you. Be this beautiful body sitting here. Be this silent being sitting everywhere. Feeling your heart breathing. Knowing how we're all connected with each other. Even if you think you're not connected, you cannot not be connected. So we're all connected here in this field. And let this field, without doing anything, let that radiate all over so that all beings in all worlds will benefit and be touched by us coming together here today. So take a moment to generate that without really doing anything, just being you. And then letting that go. Thank you all so much for being here today and joining. Take good care. Love you all. And be kind to yourself. Kindness is one of those sweet aliveness of your nature, of your being. Be kind to yourself and to all those around you. Love you.